SBS advises that the following program includes images of dead or wounded people.
It's 2:30 a.m. in Cebu, an island in the southern Philippines. I've been woken by a local journalist who covers drug crime as the city sleeps. By day, this city is a tourist haven, known for its tropical beaches. But by night, it's become the frontline of the Philippines' illicit drug trade.
Just got a tip-off that there is a police operation taking place. We believe it is a buy-bust operation, an anti-drug operation taking place in a local neighbourhood, and it's notorious for this kind of activity.
Police will be undercover. To avoid drawing attention, reporter Romeo Morental must film for us using a GoPro.
It's so dark. Run! Ah!
As he arrives, a young man in his 20s is apprehended by police, posing as drug buyers.
Ikaw may katungod sa pagpakahilom. Kung unsay imong istorya mahimo magamit bato kanimo.
He's been caught selling shabu, the local street name for crystal meth. Searching his belongings, they find additional bags of the drug. Under the country's draconian anti-drug laws, selling or distributing can land you in prison for life. As the suspect is taken away, we regroup nearby.
Romeo, how much was seized?
This is around 30 grams of illegal drugs. It's a lot already. Non-bailable na yan.
Romeo has covered crime here for more than 20 years.
You work as a reporter here. What changes are you seeing?
Minsan, may 7 na drug operation sa isang araw, sa isang linggo. Minsan din, umaabot ng 20 operations.
That seems extraordinary. Is that on the rise?
Yes. Yung mga, dati yung mga drug addict lang, humihit-hit lang ng shabu. Kasi yung mga drug dealers, wala nang takot sa gobyerno eh. Sa mga otoridad, wala na eh.
Under the previous president, Rodrigo Duterte, a bust like this would have likely left the dealer dead.
There is 3 million drug addicts. I'd be happy to slaughter him.
Between 2016 and 2022, he led an aggressive anti-drug campaign known as Oplan Tokhang, granting police shoot-to-kill orders.
Kung makawag ng baril, patayin mo na para one less criminals.
It resulted in thousands of extrajudicial killings, the dead branded as drug dealers or users.
Double your efforts. Triple them if need be.
Ano pong pinaparakang?
Nilagyan ko ng droga eh, sa lugar namin eh. Hindi naman nagbibinta sa droga namin yun eh. May mga CCTV sa harapan ng bahay namin.
Police put the death toll at more than 6,000. Human rights groups estimate it could be 12 to 30,000. There were also hundreds of thousands of arrests, with tens of thousands incarcerated, many without fair trial. A decade on, Duterte is now in prison awaiting trial for these crimes at the International Criminal Court. I want to know what's changed, so I've come to the country's capital, Manila. These densely packed shantytowns, home to the city's poor, were the focus of Duterte's brutal crackdown.
Lourdes
Yes po.
and Joanne. And this is the little one.
Yeah, yes po. Yan na po. Pasok po kayo, ma'am.
It's nice to meet you. I'll follow you in. Let's go.
Here po.
So this is your husband.
Yes po. Constantino De Juan. 18 years na po kami na magkasama. Itong last na picture niya. Po to nung 2016 po siya nagpa-picture at saka ito po yung picture na to. Kumuha po siya ng barangay ID at saka nagpa-drug tested po siya. Negative po.
Lourdes De Juan and her daughter Joanne are among the drug war's many victims. Their husband and father, Constantino, was shot dead at the hands of unidentified police in an extrajudicial killing. His daughter Joanne was just 10 years old at the time. Can you tell me what happened that night?
Nagluluto po siya ng spaghetti para po sa birthday ko maghahanda. Maya-maya po may biglang pumasok po ng mga pulis. Tapos bigla po sinabihan si Papa na lumuhod ka, wag kang diyan ka lang. Tapos yun yung pinadapa po siya sa may upuan. Kami po parang nagulat na po kami, umiyak na po kami lahat, niyakap po namin si Papa. Tapos yun sabi naman po ni Papa na wag niyo po huwaanuhin kasi po may mga anak pa po ako na maliliit. I mean, marami pa po akong anak. Ay po. Tapos yung pulis po, parang hinahatak po kami paalis kay Papa. Tapos sabi po ni Papa, may mga ID po siya ng mga pinapakita niya naman po sa mga pulis. Tapos yung paghatak po kay ate sa labas, pagtulak po sa kanya, bigla po binaril si Papa dito po sa dibdib. And dito, tapos dito po sa noo niya.
Constantino was killed along with 2 others in the community that night after being identified as a drug user and placed onto a government watch list without his knowledge. When he was killed, his family say he'd been clean for over a year.
Yung mga kapatid ko po, hindi pa nila na may tatay sila. Ayun po.
Constantino's murder has never been investigated. His death certificate states he died of a heart attack. Without the main breadwinner, the family now struggles to get by.
Do you think that Duterte's policies have improved things here? Have they ended the drug problem?
Sa akin po, sa pananaw ko, hindi po. Kasi, kaya ko naman po nasasabi na hindi. Bakit? Nawala ba ang droga? Hindi nawawala yun. Nandun pa rin yung sakit na kahit kailan hindi mawawala.
Ayos, maganda.
Today in the Philippines, there's a new government with promises to wage a more humane campaign. But the drug war hasn't stopped. Under the current president, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Cebu City has overtaken Manila to become the new hotspot for drug-related murders. To film here, we need a police escort.
Ito yung lugar kung saan binaril yung biktima. Na dito siya banda.
Reporter Romeo says a man was shot here in a targeted attack just days ago.
Dito siya banda na bulagta. Yung gabi na yon, may dalawang e-bike dito Tapos, yung yung investigador, naka-recover ng 3 empty shell, 2 dito at isa doon. Empty shell ng .45 caliber.
Footage filmed by a bystander shows the moments immediately after he was shot. They were his last moments alive.
And so what do you think happened to him that night?
Parang sinundan na siya o hinintay at dito na binaril. Yung suspect na bumaril sa biktima, 2 yung nakita nilang suspect. Yung isa ang bumaril, yung isa yung lookout.
Since the Marcos administration began, there have been 1,298 drug-related murders. 230 of them were here in Cebu.
What do you know about the person who shot him?
Base lang sa aking mga interviews ng mga relatives ay hindi sangkot yung mga pulis kundi sa mga grupo-grupo na o sa may mga utang na hindi nakakabayad sa kanilang mga amo. Yun ang dahilan bakit sila pinapatay o pinagbabaril. Pag hindi mo binayaran kahit maliit lang yung utang nila, ipababaril ka na, ipapapatay ka na.
Would there be drug pushers in this street, in this area?
Meron.
Is it safe to be here?
Ngayon, medyo kalmado lang. Pero sa gabi, hindi ko masisiguro kung safety pa ba.
Even with a police escort, we can't stay long here.
So we've just been told that one of the suspects believed to be involved in this case has been spotted not far from where we're filming, and it's no longer safe to be here. So we've been told to leave.
I wanted to know more about the man who was gunned down and who might be responsible. I tracked down his extended family and find them living in extreme poverty.
Mali balay na mo, ma'am. Dari yung kwartong dinis. Sige pandayan ni. Kami balin siya diri. Pag bangulaya niya diri siya dangop nako. Ne, sige tayo panday ni kabili na mo.
The man who was killed was named Dennis Omasdung. Mildred is his older sister.
So this is Dennis?
Yeah. He's my brother. Mayong to siyang tao niya, kanang magingatagon, magingamigaghon.
Mildred says her brother wasn't always involved in the illicit drug trade. He began selling after the birth of his first child.
E-bike. Drive siya e-bike. Ito ako, na dyan nagtabang niya para lang dyan makahunong siya yung inana ba nga na siya matang at inarong siyang pamilya. Mo drive siya buntag, mo uli siya dari udto, makita rin siya 500, 600. Nga, usba na sa inig hapon, ay magpaway mo. Kanang, bis gana mo paway ako igsoon, di na lang makapaway kaya mga awayon, nagwalay mahatag ba. So kato siya, mahat na lagsod, og inana, nga manguha og wire, anak, kay para lang na siya matay siya asawa, para makauli lang siya sa ila.
Mildred says it didn't take long for her brother to get caught by police. To reduce his sentence, he named someone else in the drug trade, which she believes made him a target.
Ang usa akong igsoon, niya, ako nadunggan mo, 50 mo ko ang patong siyang ulo.
She says the police have arrested a suspect, but she's seen little evidence to suggest they have any connection to her brother's murder.
Gahapon, ma'am, nainiri na mo tanod o pulis taga-11. Gipilit nila papirma, ma'am.
This is in English. Do you understand English?
Only little bit.
It's saying here that you are no longer interested in bringing a case to prosecution. Is that actually accurate?
Para sa ako, sir, di, Jude. Kay, gipugos yun nila niya, wala man ko kasabot, di ani, di, ano namugos sila na mo, ani papirma. Namo lang ba, ano, mga yaraming justisya sa pagkamatay sa ulsoon, kay, pilalim, ma'am.
Right now, it's very unclear if the police will actually investigate any further. And this is a pretty common occurrence here in the Philippines, especially in marginalised communities like this one. Killings here receive very little police attention. And that's because at the end of the day, these families are essentially considered numbers. They're just another statistic. Since taking power in 2022, the Marcos administration has said it doesn't condone extrajudicial killings and that anti-drug campaigns must respect due process. Independent monitors have identified 330 new drug-related killings at the hands of his police, spelling fear for the country's poor.
Name?
Carmel.
Carmel.
So, diha dito ra mag-testing sa van, tawagon na nako niya na may
Single, married, live-in. Okay.
When your options are so limited and your children don't have food, no matter how harsh the law or the penalties are, it's not gonna resolve. If at the end of the day, it's about our children, it's about survival.
Inez Faria is the founder of No Box Philippines, a criminal justice reform organisation focused entirely on drug policy.
As long as the policies are not looking at the conditions that leads to the challenges, which also make sometimes the use of drugs something that is helpful rather than harmful, then this is going to continue.
So there's a lot of people who use drugs here, so they use it for work. One is like washing clothes from the neighbor, for example, starting from 10 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. So when she uses, she can wash a lot more of clothes so that she will receive more money.
The influence of drugs. Okay. When? Yesterday?
Inez says the punitive policies of the Duterte years are still in place. Among them is the Barangay Drug Clearing Program. Initially conceived as a way to measure the extent of drug use in every neighbourhood in the country and a way to connect users to support, it was exploited under Duterte and used to carry out targeted killings.
It outlines there, for example, that people who are using drugs or associated with drug-related activities need to be reported and listed down in a list that they cannot challenge, a list that they don't even know sometimes they're there, and there's no clear process that's been explained onto how the names get there. And they call it a forever list because our names are forever. And so they become easy praise, praise P-R-E-Y-S, to police action, to arrests, and so on and so forth.
Outreach worker Irie knows firsthand what it's like to end up on one of these watch lists. Now clean, she was once a former sex worker and drug user at the age of 18.
Can you tell me what happened to you?
Someone put my name on the list, so I was in the list, and hitman need to search. They searched me. They searched me everywhere.
They were hunting you?
Yeah, it's hunting me.
During Duterte's presidency, a gunman visited Irie's home after a bounty was placed on her head for 5,000 pesos, roughly 100 Australian dollars.
So you fled Davao and were on the run? for
Yes,
years.
here. I put hard makeups. I wear contact lens. I wear wig.
Does this still haunt you?
Yes, it is really traumatic because like if there's like a motorcycle or the person with like covered face, like so in my head, oh my god, it's a hitman. So it's very paranoid and
It never leaves you.
Yeah, but I need to work. I need to to work every day for my family and also for my daughter to support them.
What is the risk of this policy still being here, and what fear do you have around it?
It's a very dangerous thing because as long as the policies are still in place, anyone who has that frame of mind to use it to weaponize against people can do it, right? And we've seen how it's been done.
The Barangay drug clearing program is now at the centre of charges being brought by the International Criminal Court against Rodrigo Duterte.
The ICC issued a warrant pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the statute for crimes against humanity.
I am a citizen of this country, a former president, and you show me a piece of paper and you're asking me to go with you?
Last year, Duterte was arrested and transferred to The Hague in the Netherlands. Now in prison, he's charged with crimes against humanity that include murder and attempted murder. Duterte's former police chief, Ronald De La Rosa, is also now in hiding after police failed to catch him.
Sana tulungan niyo ako. Kaya po tayong ipapayag na another Pilipino ay dadalhin sa dahig.
But across the Philippines, the Duterte dynasty maintains a formidable and enduring base of support.
Who's this?
This is Bato De La Rosa.
This was Duterte's right-hand man, no?
Yes.
And what do you think of this man?
Siya ang mabuti siyang ehemplo sa mga tao.
Really?
Yes.
Why? What is it that makes him a good example?
Kasi siya ang once na mayroong mga kalamidad, siyang kagad ang tumutulong at tumatakbo.
So this is really quite bizarre. I mean, this man here is actually a wanted fugitive and is right now on the run from the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. And yet here at shops like this, he's still very much considered a rock star.
A 2025 survey found 63% of Filipinos still trust Duterte, with many now taking to the streets to call for the dynasty's return.
Nawawalan na kami ng safe confidence na maglakad. Natatakot kami.
You walk on the street full of drug addicts there and they will kill you. You think it's good for that?
Would you like to see a return of his war on drugs policies?
Yes po, sangayon po kami na yung Duterte era na ang palisiya po niya is war on drugs para po maging mapayapa ang komunidad.
Right now, Rodrigo Duterte is facing a trial at the International Criminal Court, facing charges of crimes against humanity, including murder. Does that concern you?
That is between the policeman and the drug addict. So they should never blame Duterte for that. It is the fault of the drugs addict.
With national elections in 2 years, the Duterte dynasty is now preparing a comeback. A decade since his war on drugs, Rodrigo Duterte is now imprisoned at The Hague. But in the Philippines, the Duterte dynasty is preparing to retake the presidency.
After Rodrigo Duterte, all eyes are on Sara now, right? And she's like a big contender for the 2028 elections. She's really the front runner in these pre-election surveys.
Michelle Abad is an independent reporter covering Rodrigo Duterte's trial in the Netherlands. She's been documenting the lasting support for the family, including for his daughter Sara, who is currently vice president.
I think when we think about Sara Duterte, the image that comes to mind is the fact, or the time when I think she was mayor of Davao City at the time, and there was a sheriff that was trying to enforce a local order, and she punched the sheriff like in front of cameras. And so that I think it is appealing in a sense that people see the strongman of Duterte in her.
Do you believe that the Philippines could see a Duterte 2.0 in Sara?
That's a good question. It's difficult to say that for sure. Her father has a bunch of these sound bites that are used against him in the ICC, saying that shoot to kill, shoot to kill. Duterte, the father, has said these things. Sara, not so much. But that doesn't mean that she's beneath killing, or she's above killings rather, because, we have her also saying on camera in a press conference that she has talked to this hitman to go after the president, his wife, and his cousin, should she be killed. And when she said that in a press conference, she said, no joke, twice. And so while Sara Duterte might not have been as vocal about wanting killings in the drug war, it doesn't mean that she doesn't have, perhaps some sort of justification for violence.
Tara na eh. Boleh ko din. Nakat-kat din.
In the shadow of Rodrigo Duterte, the drug war in the Philippines hasn't solved the drug crisis. New victims like Dennis are being gunned down as the country's poorest remain trapped, fearing they could become easy targets yet again, both of political powers at the top and operatives in the illicit trade at the very bottom.
When you come here, what do you think about?
Gaotra nga akong dugan nga ako sa boat, ma'am. Niluna na yung kalag dito sa langit. Yung anak, gasudong niya karon nga. Gusto siya makakita ang tasin papa. Pero wala naman yung papa. Niya taon, ma'am. Gura mo.